Hi, I'm Shelley Treacher from the Binge and Overeating Recovery podcast and Facebook Comfort Eating Recovery Support Group. I am in the middle of my no sugar month. I've been giving up sugar to show you how a professional who works with managing comfort eating and quitting comfort eating all day, every day, to show you how I give up comfort eating. So here I'm showing you some tips and skills and things that you might learn from about how to give up a comfort food, and I've quit sugar. This is day 17. And if you've seen my habits podcast, my podcast about how to give up a very strong habit, you'll know that there is research that says, and it's very commonly known, that after 14 days, it's really difficult. It becomes more difficult after the first 14 days. First 14 days, you're excited about it, you've got emotion about it, and you've got reasons and drive. After 14 days, apparently, it just becomes less interesting to us. We have less emotion attached to it. And I can testify that that is actually a little bit true. Day 17, I'm still not eating sugar, so I have managed it, but it has been different this week. There've been persistent, just kind of a falling back into an old habit of thinking, right, chocolate this time of day, which would be mid-morning for me, and then remembering that, oh no, I'm actually giving up sugar. It's kind of like I forgot that this is the big thing that I'm doing at the moment. And so it's been persistent. Again, there's been this nagging voice wanting me to eat chocolate. And I have to say, sometimes that has been a petulant child voice that's been saying something like, I want it, but I want it. Why can't I have it? This is what I'm used to. This is what I want. It's going to make me feel better. I want it. Do you recognize that voice? Can you identify with that? So I've been treating my little girl voice with care, but I've also been her adult. And I've brought out my adult voice, knowing my new habit is to stop eating sugar this week. And I've been saying to her, I hear what you're saying. I get that you feel like you really need this thing and you're used to having it. I even get that you're having a little bit of a tantrum right now. That's okay, but you're not going to have the sugar. We're going to try something different this week. I've got bigger reasons to want to give up sugar, and they're important to me. So just bear with me. So I've been reasoning with my little girl, and that might sound like I'm crazy, but one of the techniques that you're going to find useful is knowing that the part of you that wants comfort food is just one part of you. And the adult part of you that wants to do something different is another part of you. So the idea is to get your parts talking to each other. And that's what I've had to do a lot in the last week. It has worked. It has worked, thankfully. I'm just checking my cheat sheet. Yes, I have something else to tell you about. But I just want to mention the word rebellion, because I think this inner voice of, but I want this, is a really familiar voice for comfort eaters. And it could be a teenager's voice, it could be a child's voice. But what I hear so often with my comfort eating clients is that there's a rebellion. It may be that you were starved as a child, so you're like, no, I'm going to eat. Or there may be other reasons that you grew up with where your primary caregivers might have been quite controlling in some way or another, without wish to put them down, but they were probably acting out of their upbringing as well and how they were brought up. And you might rebel against that. You might be like, no, I'm not going to be told what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so that might be something you're still acting from. And I recognize that in my child. There is a deep part of me that does not like being told what to do. I know that's rife at the moment with a lot of people not wanting to be vaccinated, not wanting to wear masks. I won't get into that political debate, but we each have a rebel inside of us. And if at any point we've been restricted early on in life, there's going to possibly be a part of us that then rebels against that and says, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. And you might be coming from that when you choose your food. So my adult came in and said, that's not a sensible option. I have something better, which is great. So, but the last thing I want to tell you about is my friend introduced sugar-free cake to me. I'd completely forgotten about this. And when she introduced it to me, I'm like, oh, I can have cake and still have no sugar. This is amazing. So I thought I was going to come on here and say, you can cheat. You can have sugar-free cake or biscuits or even sugar-free chocolate. But I've got to say, I didn't feel really that good about having it. I felt like I was cheating, for one thing. I could forgive myself of that because I have said all I'm going to do is give up refined sugar, and I have done that to the point of not drinking alcohol as well. But it was a chocolate cake, so there was caffeine and cocoa in it. Do you remember I talked about having caffeine and not being perfect in the first week, on the first Friday, when I was so tired? I didn't have coffee the following Friday because I was into this mode now of, actually, that's a comfort thing for me. I'm preaching surrendering to tiredness and surrendering to emotion. So I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to not have caffeine last Friday. So I haven't had caffeine since, but I'd forgotten that if I have the sugar-free chocolate cake, there'd be a bit of caffeine in it. And it did make me a little bit wired. And I didn't like that. After 2 weeks of having a fairly clean diet, I could really notice that the caffeine made me just a little bit edgy and faster, and I felt like I wasn't really as in tune with the good benefits of giving up sugar. So I've chosen not to have caffeine in this month as well. And the thing I'm illustrating here is that the more mindful you become, the more the better you treat yourself. So that was a natural decision I made, having got more in touch with what my body actually enjoys and feels good with. And that's what can happen when you start giving up a comfort food. It happens organically, it happens naturally. So you really only have to cut out one thing at a time, and then other things come along. Oh God, I've got a phone ringing. Sorry. There is one more thing I want to tell you, because I have been telling you about the physical effects of what's going on for me. So last week and the week before, I had a kind of an aching in my legs and I was really tired. This week, the aching is gone and I feel a lot more energized. I think I look better as well. If you look at my eyes, under my eyes, I look less tired and my skin looks a bit better. So there's physical proof that giving up sugar is actually good for you. And I haven't done anything else. It's all about the food. I haven't done the exercise yet. I'm starting to want to do that, and I'm starting to do it like this week. But that's another organic change that's happened from being more mindful. I really recommend this whole getting in touch with what you really need experience. That really is all I have to say today. And I'll be back just once more next week at the end of this No Sugar Month. And I've also put all these together on a few podcasts that are coming out at the moment. But if you want to keep in touch with everything that I offer every week, please sign up for my mailing list. That's in the comments above or below. And I'd be very happy to give you more help. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time at the end of next week. Bye. Have a good week, weekend, and week. Bye.